Good evening and welcome to Experience Bar, where we're turning video games into cocktails. My name is Jack and I'll be your bartender for this evening, so I show you how to make a drink that'll make you feel truly divine. Sauce from Divinity Original Sin 2. Let's get started. Alright, so for sauce you are going to need a shot glass. This is not a complicated drink, so you won't need any ice or any shakers or anything like that. Just a shot glass and your ingredients. So the first thing about sauce, you don't really know much about it, at least I don't. I'm only about halfway through the game, so please no spoilers in the comments. But there's two things about it. First is the color, very iconic color, that kind of tealish with black edges. So we're going to be, well, not black edges, black internals and teal edges. So we're going to be recreating the color first. And for that, you are going to need 1/4 of an ounce or 15 mils of blue curacao. Now, because we're messing around with color here, you are going to need to experiment a little bit because your blue curacao may be a slightly different tint to mine, and the energy drink that we'll come to in a minute might be a slightly different shade. You know, it's a bunch of nonsense. So make sure you experiment if you want to get the color perfect. Next, you've got the Midori. Now, there's no specific measurements for this, so just kind of eyeball it until it's around about the right color. That'll probably do it. Again, a little bit of guesswork here, because we are going to be adding some energy drink. Get a yellow one if you can. I'm using V. I don't know if V is popular elsewhere, but it's kind of the go-to energy drink here in New Zealand. This is also going to cover the second part of sauce that we know about, in that it is powerful, it powers you up. And a drink that's fizzy and has caffeine in it and a bunch of sugar, that's probably going to make you feel moderately powerful as well. So, and just make sure that you leave a little bit of a gap at the top, however much you put in, because we're going to be adding the last part of our drink, which is, again, back to the color, that black internal, which we're going to be using Jaeger. I'm going to be floating it over the top of a spoon. Guys, I always find layering things. I've been doing a lot of layering drinks recently. I've always find these really hard because my hands shake quite a lot. Just a natural tremor. It makes layering things really hard. That's also why I use these little bottles instead of just pouring the drink straight into a jigger, then into the drink. Just a little fun Jack fact for you. All right, and there you have it. Sauce, kind of bluish, greenish color with a little bit of a black top. Not sure if that's quite the right color, but again, you guys will just have to experiment until you get it right, just so long as it looks around about the part. But yeah, that's it. That is sauce. It's as easy as that. And here's to our supporters on Patreon for helping make these drinks happen. Cheers. Whew. God, that brought a little bit of a little bit of that went down the wrong way. There's quite a few things I like about Divinity. I was very excited to make a drink around it because I'm a big fan of the game. I like the fact that it has a bunch of solutions to problems, quests and enemies on the tactical layer, on all this other stuff. It's a very open game. I mean, the story itself is pretty linear, but the way that you get from point to point is quite open. I played the original, I think it's the original Divine Divinity, and it was very different from the modern interpretations, but I think the modern interpretations have taken a different take on the game and have done a really good job with it. So in making the drink, I played around with a lot of different variations. There was a tall glass with a lot of ice, there was a blended drink, there was an old-fashioned variation, but I ended up settling on the humble shot for one simple reason. I thought it was about time that Experience Bar had a drinking game. Here's how it works. You open up a new multiplayer game of Divinity Original Sin 2, and anytime you or one of your party members gets a source point, you rack one of these up, and anytime you use one, you shoot it back. Very simple. I mean, it's less of a game and more of an enabling exercise, but it's intended to kind of represent the powering your character up. So you use source points to use your abilities, and it gives you a little bit of a kick for focus with the caffeine, as well as maybe a little bit of a distraction with the alcohol. It's not a super strong drink compared to, a shot full of whiskey. It is still alcoholic, so please don't operate heavy equipment or drive after playing this particular game, but it's not going to knock you out after you've had a couple, for example. You may need to adjust the proportions a little bit if you're playing a long game or you don't have a super high alcohol tolerance, you know, just be smart about it. But that's how you play the game, and that's how you make the drink. Thank you so much for joining me. My name has been Jack Stone. This has been Source from Divinity Original Sin 2. This has been Experience Bar. I've got a bunch of socials. Wherever you like to be, we are there too. We've got SillyGoose on Twitter, Experience Bar, and SillyGoose on Instagram. We've got an Experience Bar subreddit where you can leave suggestions for me. We do read them, we do respond to them. Just leave one down in the comments as well if you don't want to go to Reddit. We've also got a Patreon as well set up. So if you want to support the show directly and want us to keep doing this, please head on over there. You get some pretty cool goodies if you do sign up. And of course, give us a like and a subscribe. We've recently hit 1,000 subscribers, so that's really cool. Thanks, guys. It's here to another few more 100,000, hopefully. We're creating new content every 2 weeks, so hope to see you then. But until then, cheers.